Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy United People's TV here to wrap up the summer transfer window. We've got a little cheeky timer down there in the corner. Less than an hour to go, and we're waiting for the official Senne Lammens, or Lammens? I still can't figure it out. Lammens, let's call him Lammens, just for all intents and purposes. The Senne Lammens announcement. We're also going to get the official announcement for Sancho and Villa, fingers crossed. Antony and Real Betis. Rasmus Hojlund and Napoli. Ideally, we get a secret surprise midfield signing. I don't think we will. We'll also speak about the transfer window as a whole. We'll speak about the signings we made, Cunha and Bumo and Šeško, and all the other exits, including Garnacho, kind of rounding up the window. I'm expecting it to be a busy show. All right, this is what, the third live show we've had today? We've had a proper deadline day, we have. Let me see who's here from the mods and the member gang. And let's get on with the show with United just immediately announcing that Ethan Ennis has completed a move to Fleetwood Town. Right then. Let's see who's here and let's get on with the show. Don't tell me how to pronounce it in the comments. I keep changing it. I'm sticking with mine. Lammens, right? Cool. We'll just call him Lemons. Or Sen. Anyway. Good morning to Jason. We've got Potato. How you doing, buddy? Innes. We've got Rob. We've got Donkey. We've got Sam, the Flam Man. We've got Jason. We've got lots of new faces in here. We've got Ryan Williams, Mark Critchley, Kelly Colvin. We've got Roy Tweet. We've got Gantner. We've got lots of new faces because it'll be a different time show and you're not always used to tuning in with us. I hope you enjoyed the profile video we dropped earlier. And we'll be doing plenty more. But as I said, to kick off the show, United have just announced that Ethan Ennis has completed a loan move to Fleetwood Town. And if we go over here, this is updated and this is ready. We've already had that move added. Did I say good morning? Good evening. Don't know. But these are the totals now. Looking roughly at the totals. Remember that this is not going to be exactly what's leaving Manchester United's bank account because it doesn't take into account the fact that it's split over X amount of years. So don't come at me with that. These are just the overall figures in terms of how much money we're making and how much money we've signed players for, all right? Tomorrow, I'm going to go into the numbers in a bit more detail. Going to try and split it down into how much is going out each year, how much we actually spent, how much actually came in, etc., etc. All right? So tomorrow, I'll be able to do it in a bit more detail. I won't be able to do that in live show. It's just too much. Tony, thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships. Hey, look, someone asking about the Baleba deal. Hey, look, I'd love it to randomly happen in the last hour of the window, but I don't think it's going to, so I'm not exactly going to feed you false hope. I've got to talk about this at the start of this video, right? Like, how did Chelsea do it? Can someone tell me how Chelsea do this? Like, Nicholas Jackson, Chelsea played for a couple of years. 2 pretty damn bang average couple of years. Let's be completely honest. He's not exactly massively improved as a player. They signed him for like 30-odd mil from, what was it? Valencia? I think it was Villarreal. And they've now just loaned him for a fee of 14 mil. And a total deal worth 70 mil. And it's just like, that's nearly double what they... No, that's over double what they paid for him. How did Chelsea do it? How do Chelsea do it? Seriously. I have no idea. Odie's saying, awesome to catch a live show. Plenty of live shows today. Glad you have managed to join. Alex is saying it's not just Chelsea, Sam. Liverpool are doing it very well as well. Harvey Elliott. I think just Chelsea are just like somehow the best at it. I don't really know what they're doing. Cormac, you enjoying the countdown from the clock? I thought I'd add it because it's, hey, look, we're here for deadline day. And we know exactly how long we've got. I'll tell you one thing, right? I'm glad, very glad, that it doesn't end at 11 p.m. because that really, really annoyed me last time. Something else that's happening around United before we then dive in and speak about United is you could well see the Mark Gahey move collapse to Liverpool. So it was Igor, I think, from Brighton to Palace. There was a here we go on that earlier. And then that move has collapsed now because I don't think he felt he had enough of a guarantee of minutes. So now that move might collapse. Well, no, that move has collapsed. And therefore, Mark Gahey's moved to Liverpool, which would be a real shame. Right? Be a real shame. Like someone down there saying, Kay saying United have got the worst negotiation team. The Antony one, I think we negotiated pretty damn well. Garnacho, I think we could have got more. Should have got more. Hojlund for a €45 million overall package. Is anybody annoyed about that in the comments? I don't really think so. What are the ones? Jadon Sancho. Man. We were trying our hardest all damn summer. Trying our hardest. And in terms of Madison, I'll speak about him, but it looks like his move to Elche has collapsed, and I don't really know what else follows there. Let's dive in. Let's speak about United and what we're waiting for and what should be coming, I think, during this show. Right? Someone down there saying you forgot to add Diego Leon. I didn't forget to add Diego Leon. We signed him in January. That was when the signing was completed. He didn't join the club until he was over 18 because these are the rules after Brexit. But we signed him in January. Senne Lammens. I'm sticking with it. We've got confirmation from Mike McGrath and Telegraph saying that he has now joined United after completing his medical and all the contracts are signed. So we're just waiting for the official announcement. He flew in. We had the photos in the live show earlier. Him flying in from Antwerp. He's now completed his medical. Everything's fine. No complications. Contract signed. So we're just waiting for the official announcement from Manchester United and the official pictures. And hopefully a video of Senne Lammens pronouncing his name. What I need, right? Sort it out, United. And I hope you enjoyed that video, right? I'm really glad that the reason I was really glad that we were able to drop that video is because I genuinely think it's probably the best profile that we've done. Big up to John on the edit of that. It just felt like the flow was good. The amount of information that was put across, it wasn't too much. It wasn't a case of overhyping. We say, well, this is what he's good at. And this is probably what he's going to have to improve at United. Is he a complete goalkeeper? No. Will he have to develop? Absolutely. But that's what happens when you sign a 23-year-old with 1 year of senior experience. But I hope you enjoyed that video. I think plenty of you did. That's an interesting one there from Chris Wheeler. Coming out from the Daily Mail. So you've been asking about midfield signings. He's suggesting that United actually did inquire about Conor Gallagher, but Atletico Madrid only wanted to sell him. And in the end, United accepted they couldn't do everything in one window, and midfield is likely to be a priority in January or next summer. Could well be that United go after Baleba in January. It's a case of like if that's your plan for the summer, then you may as well do it in January. Well, at least try to do it. It depends what happens with Brighton. If I was to guess anything with Baleba, and I really do mean this, I think his value will only go down in these next... Am I right or wrong on that one? Do you think his value will go up and down? Like, how do you expect the first 5 months of the season to go for Brighton? I suppose they did just beat City, so I might be wrong on that one. But apparently we did at least inquire about Conor Gallagher and maybe to get him on loan, but not happening. Well, yeah. We'll go back to that. What was that video? Too many tabs. There it is. Looking forward to the announcement. Right. This is me multitasking now. Let me go down to the chat. Someone saying they think Bruno gets sold in January and bring in Baleba. I think Bruno being sold is part of the summer plans. So again, I suppose United could bring forward those plans if they wanted to, and if it was the only way that it was possible. It's not impossible. I don't really think that he would be... I don't think the fee for Baleba would be any more in January than it would be in the summer. I don't think... Do January windows come with a premium? I don't particularly think they do. A few of you are saying that you think his value will go down. Some of you saying up. It's nice that we all agree. And you're saying if we don't go in for Baleba in January, we will not get him next summer. I am pretty worried about that, I'll be totally honest. Because I think that Liverpool will be after him, and I'll be amazed if City weren't after him. He just seems like the natural successor to Rodri in that team. And you're saying, what is with the Ineos hate? 2 very good windows now. For God's sake, people, we finished 15th. We had no right to even get Cunha and Mbeumo. Well, that's a pretty fair point. Now, what I'm going to do a little bit later in the video, because we've got an hour we can have a chat. I'm going to speak about each individual signing. You know, there's a lot to run through. Let's be totally honest. We have got a lot done this summer. For the first time, probably for the first time ever, I can say with complete honesty, United have actually had a clear out. You know how we've done like half-assed clear outs before? You know, player leaving on that, player going on like... We pretty much got rid of every player that we wanted to. I think we would have moved Onana on had he not got that injury. I think we would have moved, and maybe we still will, by the way, move Malacia on, and maybe we will actually move both of them on. But it's a lot. Nobody expected United to be able to make 3 signings north of 60 mil. We all expected us to be able to sign a goalkeeper, but on deadline day, it's a little bit late. But no one expected us to have that sort of A, money, and B, ambition. I suppose people expected us to have the ambition, but the ability to pull it off is a little bit different. I think it's been a pretty damn good summer. Is it perfect? No. And I tell you what, I guarantee you, if we signed Baleba, right, it'd still be some of you in the comments going, well, you could have done this as well. There'll always be just like, oh, you could have also done, just be happy. I'm not saying that you can't be upset the fact that United haven't signed a midfielder. I'll be totally honest. I think we should have signed a midfielder. It was on my list. And maybe we still would. No, we won't. We won't. Now, in terms of Emi Martinez, I think this is an interesting little conversation to have. United agreed personal terms of both of them. I kind of felt that United were effectively using Martinez as a backup plan, as a side chick. And this is actually what Fabrizio said. This was earlier on today, but the reasons why the Martinez move sort of didn't materialize.
Look, at the moment, Emi is still looking for a solution. Emi wants to go. This is since the start of the window. You probably remember, of course, that at the end of last season, he was saying his goodbye to Villa fans. Then he was back in the squad, but then yesterday again out. So he probably wants to go. We have to see if they can find a solution now, because with United, the deal was on till this morning. Then the idea of Manchester United, from what I'm hearing, was to do a permanent deal swap with Jadon Sancho and Emi Martinez, not to involve any money, basically, in the deal, with valuation around 25 millions for both players, but at the moment, from what I'm hearing, this is going to be impossible because Sancho is going only on loan.
So, according to Fabrizio, this morning United were floating the idea of Sancho going to Villa and Martinez coming in the other direction, both in permanent deals, but with no money being exchanged. But Sancho didn't want to do that. And I've read this as well, right? There's two things you need to hear on the Sancho situation. Right? 2 things. Number 1, United are getting 80% of Sancho's wages covered. This come from Charlotte Dunker from the Times. But with the addition of a loan fee and bonuses, United should be getting 100% of his salary covered. And if I remember correctly, isn't that exactly the same isn't that the exact same setup as our loan for Rashford? It was around about 80% of his wages covered, but then it went up to 100% if bonuses were achieved, and I think they were. Now, on top of that, I haven't seen this. I don't know whether somebody on this aggregator has just taken this word. I was trying to find where Fabrizio said this, and I haven't quite found it yet. So don't take this bit as gospel, but this is a conversation. The idea that United will activate Jadon Sancho's contract option until next year, because you know full well, right now, Sancho's contract runs out next summer, and he's a free agent, which is exactly what Jadon Sancho wants. If United do this, this is an opinion thing, I think you might be able to then look at the PSR value of Sancho on the books and whether you spread that over 1 or 2 years and whether that actually would make a difference to United. Maybe. But what it could be, and this would be a risk for United, but effectively it would be United saying, hold on here, you've just been saying no to every single permanent move that we've been trying to find out because you want to be a free agent. You know what we're going to do? Screw you back. You can go out on loan to Villa now. You come back, You're not gonna get that free agent money next summer. Hell no. We're gonna exercise that option and loan you out again, and delay what Sancho wants by another year, which would be, you could argue, a little bit petty. But it's kind of it would be a bit of a sort of a two fingers to player power. Hey, look, as I said, this isn't gospel. This hasn't been confirmed anywhere yet. But if United were to do it, I'm just trying to think of the logic of why United would. And that's kind of as far as I can get. I think in an ideal world, I think I'd rather just like wash my hands of Sancho and get him gone. Right, well, who's next to speak about? Oh, yeah. So, like, of the two goalkeepers and the two choices, someone down there saying, would Sancho have to agree to that? I don't think Sancho wanted to join Aston Villa. I don't think Marcus Rashford wanted to join Aston Villa. But when push comes to shove and they really ran out of options, all they're pushing Roma away and pushing this away and pushing that club away. Well, no, never mind. Let's just go Villa then. It's kind of what it's ended up being. But United chose Senne Lammens over Emi Martinez, but part of that may well have been the fact that Sancho rejected a permanent move to Villa, and therefore any deal for Emi Martinez, despite the personal terms being agreed, kind of went by the wayside. And I know that this is something that both of you want. It's something that I want as well. Both of you. Something that we all want is both of these lads leaving. The Turkish and the Saudi windows are still open past this deadline, so the fact that they haven't been sold yet, it doesn't mean that they can't be sold. I don't actually know the deadlines. Let's have a quick look on this. I don't know the deadlines of the Turkish transfer window. Turkish transfer window deadline. Is it like 10th of September? September the 12th, according to Google, which may or may not be right. September the 12th for the Turkish, and the 10th of September. Oh, there you go, look. Saudi Pro League transfer window closed on the 10th of September in Turkey, and the window shuts on the 11th of September. Have I read that right? Yeah, no. 10th of September in Saudi. Turkey, 11th of September, 12th September to Greece. So we've still got another 10 days or so. So yeah. Just go move to Cyprus. It's a nice little holiday. Another 10 or 11 or 12 days where we can try and find a club for them. But as it stands, no clubs. Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. Sancho's a problem, but we all know that, right? Should we thank Sancho for facilitating the Le Mans deal? Or the roundabout way? Maybe. And you're saying to Sam, I feel Ineos are trying to show some class and decorum? I don't really think there are two words that really need to be associated with the transfer window. Not in kind of United's current condition. It's get it done. It's be as ruthless as you can. The Hojlund situation was the most ruthless one. And in terms of getting it done, I don't think there's probably a better example of United's approach proving correct than Antony. There's a photo of Antony now on the way to Sevilla. Gabriel Jesus has got a big beard now. He's got a couple of earrings too. That's him on the way to Seville with his agent, and we know what the terms of the deal are. Forgotten them now. Was it 25 million euros up front, permanent deal, no money given to Antony to pay off the difference in the contract, and we get 50% of the complete sell on. It's not about the profits. Andy Mitten said this now, and who else said it? Charlotte Dunker from the Times as well, I think. Both saying that we get 50% of no matter how much Antony is sold for. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've seen. I don't need to bring up the Ethan Ennis tweet from Fleetwood Town. I've already covered that at the start of the show. The fact that he's going. Vitek should be the number 2, says Donovan down there. Maybe he will next season. We don't know. I've got no idea. PT is saying, nice to see we've got a couple of young keepers at last. Le Mans with Vitek pushing him to next season. Yeah, well, it'll be on United now to somehow find clubs for these two. I say somehow. There's always clubs. There'll be plenty of clubs that want to sign by India and Atlanta. Just haven't quite found any yet so far this summer. What you can say down there. Rerun, you're saying you can sell to Turkish and Saudi clubs, but you can't buy. That is indeed correct. So because their windows are open, they can still register players. So therefore, you can still do deals with them. So therefore, we've still got another 10 odd days or so. On top of that, it's what I mean today. So it's 40 minutes before the deadline. We're waiting for the official statement on Antony leaving. We're waiting for the official statement on Sancho to Villa. We're waiting on the official statement for Antony to Real Betis. And we're waiting on the official statement from Hojlund and Napoli. And we're waiting for the official statement for Senne Lammens to join. 5, my God. Now, ladies and gents, I love the summer transfer window and covering it here on United People's TV because I sort of started this with journalistic roots. It's always the thing I've found the most fun. It's why I like doing the board here. It's why I like trying to follow every single transfer to bring you as much reliable news as I can. Looking at players who are leaving. And then this bad boy. I think there was more than 83 overall, but I think we got a bit bored towards the end. But I tell you what, I'm looking forward to the end of this window. I never ever thought I'd say this, but I'm looking forward to a little bit of an international break. Right, I am. And you're saying, Sam, if I had to guess, I would see Onana going out on loan. Don't see anyone taking the risk outright. I mean, a loan is fine. A loan is fine by me. Now, unfortunately, it looks like nothing is currently happening with Malaysia, and this is what has happened. United were in talks of a loan move to Elche, but the problem is this. United wanted to include a clause in the contract that made it permanent at the end of the season. Now, the reason they were doing that is because United have the ability to extend Malaysia's contract by 1 more year, same as Sancho. And United effectively didn't want to lose him for free, so they wanted him to go out on loan, put a permanent obligation clause in the contract, and then get some money for him next summer. Elche said no, and I don't really blame them for saying no. Let's be honest. We don't know how he's going to play. We don't know how his fitness is going to hold up. How can we possibly agree to an obligation to sign him when we don't know how his fitness is going to be? So I understand why they pulled out. I understand why United tried to put it in. But as it stands, that loan move collapsed. So United are probably going to try and find, again, we can put Malaysia then next to these two. So Onana, Bayindir and Malaysia. I think United will be speaking to Saudi clubs, speaking to Turkish clubs, speaking to Greek clubs. I don't know. And seeing if they can find clubs for all three of them. I feel sorry for him, man. I do feel sorry for him. The 35-minute left, how's the midfielder going to come? The midfielder's not going to come. Ornstein there saying City is set to complete the signing of Donnarumma. Donnarumma feels like a bit of... I think it'd be an all-right signing. Does feel a bit odd, though. I think so. I'm fine with Senne Lammens. Hackney on loan with an obligation from Borough. I know plenty of you are going to come with good ideas and like good suggestions down there in the comments, and we might have the money for it. Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I just don't think it's going to happen. So just don't get your hopes up. United have taken a big old risk in midfield. They have. They've backed the options that we've got to be better than the current sum of all parts. Bruno will be better this season than he has been these last few weeks. That's not going to be particularly hard. How good can Ugarte and Casemiro be? It's questionable. It's very questionable. How good can Mainu be? It's kind of an unknown at this point in time. We all know how good he is, but how much game time would he get? Where exactly would he play? So there's a lot of questions about midfield, and that's why you can't give it a 10 out of 10 window. I think it's been a great window, but you can't give it a 10 out of 10 for the fact that we didn't sign a midfielder. Alex saying the love an Ornstein bomb for a central midfielder right now. I think we all would. But with 35 minutes to go, has that ever happened? Like a name coming out of nowhere and a club actually being able to sign him before the deadline closes? I don't know. Simon is saying Casemiro's not got the legs for it. Well, it's what I think is what we all think. Because it's just the truth. It's a bit like I'm pretty sure that Casemiro and Ugarte can both have a decent enough impact this season. I don't think it will go beyond just being a decent impact. But if you use them in the right way, use them in the right times, and use them in the right games. I think they'll be all right. Yeah, we could have definitely done with a midfielder, but United made their choice. And we might look back on this and say, oh, I'm glad United waited for that. Rather than signing I think I would have been, as much as I would have been happy that we signed Hojlund, I would have been annoyed if we went and spent 50, 60 mil on Morten Hojlund from Sporting. I genuinely would have been. Not for the fact that he's an awful player, but for the fact that I think, what's better now, spending 60 mil and having him for this season or waiting and getting Baleba? I think I would choose the latter. But kind of as has been pointed out down there, the next summer's going to be crazy, so maybe it's going to be January where we go back in for him. Maybe I'll put this down as a poll then, right? What would you rate this summer overall? Right? Trying to think of the 4 options. 7. Let's just go 7, 8, 9, or 10. I think that's fair to go 7, 8, 9, or 10. You can go lower if you want, but if you think this window's lower than a 7, then what the hell are your expectations? I'll be surprised if anyone does 10, but we'll let that run for a while, and everyone loves a poll. On top of all of that, we're just waiting here for Harry Mass to get his move to Sheffield Wednesday signed off. I wouldn't be too upset if he didn't bloody move. We're really happy with some of the loans that we've got this season. We go over here, done, whiteboard. Vitek to Bristol City, really good loan. Morehouse to Leyton Orient, really like that loan. Ennis to Fleetwood. Jack Bowman going on a free to Norwich is a bit of a weird one. Collier going on loan to West Brom, I think is a good one. Wheatley, I don't really think is going to make it as a United player, and neither do I think Joe Hugo either. But I think the loans have largely been good, but the idea of Amas going to Sheffield Wednesday, I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair. I just don't think so. All right, let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. What would you rank this window out of 10? So we've got 800 votes in the first minute, and 46% of you are saying 7. 41 are saying 8. 11% are saying 9. And 2% of you are saying 10. I'll read some of the chats out. Thoughts on letting Heaton starting goal? Heaton should have starting goal for the first 3 or 4 games. Stephanie saying 7 because we neglected midfield again. 7 says Jonas, and midfielder would have made it a 10. Jordan, you're saying 8. It would be higher if we offloaded even more players. Who else could we have offloaded? I suppose we could have offloaded Onana and buy in there. I mean, you could never stop, really. But I suppose you would stop at a certain point. Most of you are saying, 7 or 8. A lot of you are saying down there. I think I'll go for 8. But I'm going to do my own personal sort of summary tomorrow. Compare it to the dream window I've laid out in terms of the signings and the exits. In fact, let's just quickly have a look at that now. This will be an interesting one. How long ago did I do that video? What, a couple of months? Something like that. Where's my dream window? Right. There's someone trying to... No, don't want to hear my voice, thank you. Cool. Let's see how close I was to the figures. 2 of me on screen now. It's too many. I said 40 mil for Rashford. I said... Some of them weren't too bad. 40 for Rashford, which I think is going to be a roughly... Isn't that what the obligation is at the end of it? I got that wrong. Might be a little bit less than that now, actually. Garnacho was unfortunately bob on. I wish that was a bit more, but that was correct. Antony for 25. I'll take that. Sancho for 20. That one sucks. We just couldn't sell him on a permanent deal. Hojlund for 30, which isn't too far off what it is. Onana, didn't sell him. Bayindir, didn't sell him. Malacia, didn't sell him. Casemiro, didn't sell him. Should probably just zoomed in. That would have been a smarter thing to do. Now you can all see it. And then I had Cunha as the first signing and Bumo as the second signing. Then I had a striker in Gyökeres. That ended up being Šeško. I had a midfielder and I had Wharton. And then I had Garcia down as a goalkeeper for 20 mil, and we've signed Lammens for 20 mil. It's not actually too far off. Really and truly, not too far off. Let me see what you're saying down here. Apparently I missed some super chats. Premier League starts when logic ends. The market this summer is super inflated initially. I think it will go up for Baleba. When the market's been inflated all summer long, man. It's been crazy. Did anyone come in for Manu on loan? I don't think so. Odie, you're saying Sancho, how much is this betting? How does this betting keep getting clubs? I don't really know. I've said that before. Like, he is so fortunate that he's getting this move to Villa. Although it isn't completely completed yet. So hopefully it happens. Please, please, please. But yeah, we're here. And at some point in the next half an hour, we should be getting the... Well, we've still got all the announcements to be made. What else are you saying down here? Svan, you're saying getting out toxic players means we at least did our job. Could have been worse. I mean, the priority was... Clearly, the club prioritised the harmony of the dressing room. There's a big thing this summer. Hence why that bomb squad even existed. Hence why all those players were literally frozen out. No, I know you're part of the club, but you're not part of the club's future. So you're not training with the first team. You're not coming on the pre-season tour. You can do what you want. You can train on your own, but you're not part of it. So they kept them away. Now, did that hurt them in terms of how much we got for them? Probably a little bit with Garnacho. But did we therefore avoid all the noise and any sort of nonsense with Garnacho being out on the pre-season tour, not turning up for training, being late to training on pre-season again a couple of times? Probably. And then therefore that in itself was worth a little bit of money. Riedenberg saying, not very inspiring. Do you think Josh Brownhill could be an option as a backup midfielder, former academy player available on a free? If you're going to be going that sort of far down the rabbit hole in terms of trying to find a midfielder, then you would just find someone from the academy itself and you would bring up from within. Don't actually know what's going on with Sekakone. Haven't heard anything past, when he got the facial injury. I think it was against Altrincham. Don't quite know there. What are we saying down here? There you go. Right. That's in fact, this just come out just by Manchester United. We've got the first official statement of the show. And it is for... Let's just put that at the end. It's for Rasmus. Right. Hojlund joins Napoli on loan. Let's zoom in a little bit. Manchester United striker Rasmus Hojlund has joined Napoli on loan for the duration of next season, subject to international clearance and registration. Made 95 appearances, scored 26 goals. He's agreed to move to the Serie A champions under the management of Antonio Conte, and of course will play alongside McTominay. Napoli will be the 5th club he represented. Don't really need to know that. Right. One, done, and official. Look, man, I really, really wish nothing but the best for Rasmus Hojlund. I said this to you before. There's no way that I would involve him in the bomb squad sort of moniker and the name tag. I think it's completely unfair. But United made of all of these, right? We look at this whole board of all those exits. I don't see any that are more ruthless than United moving Hojlund on this summer. Anybody? Someone tell me one of these exits which was more ruthless. Sancho was obvious. We were trying to get rid of him the whole summer. Antony was obvious. Trying to get rid of him the whole summer. Garnacho, same thing. Broken relationship. Rashford, been trying to get rid of him for a couple of seasons. So none of them, I would say, are particularly ruthless. I think all of them were pretty bloody obvious. But Hojlund, we could have kept it going with him for another year. We didn't. And he's moved on. I actually think he'll do well. I think Lukaku's out for what? 2 months? Something like that. And when he comes back, Antonio Conte and Romelu Lukaku is like a love story in football, man. How many different clubs has he played under Conte? Is it 3? 2? Can't remember. Anyway, let me see what you're saying about Rasmus in the chat. Reggie saying, agreed, Hojlund was never a dick. His attitude was always excellent. I feel for Rasmus. Hopefully he has teammates who play like he exists. Yeah, I suppose we didn't really ever get the best service to him, but truth be told, last season, come on, let's be fair. He wasn't doing enough in by himself. Every time the ball went up to him, he just bounced off him. I always found that so strange about Hojlund. Like, he's not a small dude. He's a he's a pretty damn physical player. But he just, he didn't really know how to use his own body. I would probably say he's one of the biggest downfalls he had last season. Of course, the finishing didn't help. Well, actually, I think he had pretty good conversion rate compared to the rest. Rasmus will thrive elsewhere, someone says down there. Just didn't work for the lad. Really wishing the best at Napoli, says JT Motley. I've got high hopes for him. Chelsea, Inter, and now. Yeah, I thought it was 3 clubs. Conte and Lukaku. Absolute boys. But look, we got that. It's the first official one. We should now, hopefully, be getting the Antony one. And I suppose the more important. Is it more important? Don't know. Just as important. Sancho and Villa. Someone down there saying he's a late bloomer. He's going to get service off De Bruyne. He's going to enjoy himself with McTominay. I hope so. I really hope that McTominay had. I suppose it would already be out if there was. I just kind of like to think that the people around McTominay were smart enough to just take a video diary of his first season at Napoli and to turn that into a little mini documentary, because it would be class. I'd watch that. He's just turned into an absolute cult hero there. Didn't he score on the first weekend of the season as well for Napoli? I think he did. Let me see what he's saying down here. Fran, you're saying last season I felt Rasmus had the same first touch with Lukaku, but never worked for him. His attitude couldn't be faulted, but it just didn't work out. Yeah, attitude is only so much. If you don't have the right attitude, you've got no chance. But if you haven't got the quality to match the attitude, you've also got no chance. It's a bit of both. We already know that. Talent in isolation isn't enough. And neither is attitude. Le Mans isn't official just yet. We're here on the show. We've got 22 minutes until the deadline. I mean, I'm going to presume that because... Isn't that how it works? Like, if certain documents get sent before the deadline, then you can still do the official announcement after. I think. Monkton John, I've seen more of you today than the missus. Sorry, everyone. I've been live a lot today. I had to get everything covered. We've had, 3 live shows and a lunchtime video. It's a lot. Anyway, Hojlund, good luck to him, man. He should be okay nearly. I agree. Now, let me go up to the poll again. So we've got 2,400 votes are in, and right now, 50% of you are saying it's a 7 out of 10 window. 39% are saying 8, 9% are saying 9. What would you give the signing of Cunha in isolation then? Should we do these? Yeah, right. So I'll end that poll now. So 50% are saying it's a 7 out of 10. What would you rank? Oh, God. What would you rank the signing of Cunha? In isolation. Don't know why I'm typing that in. It's not a bloody poll, is it? Start a poll. What would you rank the signing of Cunha? I'm going to go for the same again, because I think it's a 7, 8, 9 or a 10. I think that's pretty fair. I think it was a very good signing, really. So we're just going to go through the signings one by one now, rather than speaking about how United did overall in the window. What have I done there? Oh, God, load. Get off my screen. Trying to ruin it for me. I can't look at it any less than a 9, if you ask me. Yeah, like United had absolutely no, and you mentioned it earlier, United had no right to be going after players like Cunha of that quality. Not after finishing 15th. Not after losing the Europa League final. Not after the season we had. Really don't think we had any right to go after him, but we got him. We got him early. Got him for the release clause, and he wanted to join. And I'll tell you what, as I said, after, and I would say it again and again and again, hopefully speak into existence, I hope that injury is not serious. Has anybody seen any word on the hamstring tear? Whether it's a tear, whether it was just, I don't know, what's smaller than a tear? Strain? Steph, you're saying Cunha 9 ball carrying, definitely the forward that we needed. Ola and Blazing, you're saying press 9, should have done 10. So we can see the poll here. We've got 800 votes are in. 37% of you are saying a 9 out of 10. 30% are saying an 8 out of 10. And 8% are saying a 7. Bit harsh. 25% are saying a 10. I'm going to go for a 9. Cunha's release clause makes it a 10, and it was on day 1 as well. That's actually a good point. It was early in the window. Right, let's move on to the second player. And Mbeumo. So we've got 1,000 votes, and most of you are saying 9 out of 10. All right. Then what about Mbeumo? What would you rate the Mbeumo signing? Again, I'm going to go 7, 8, 9, or 10. I think that's pretty reasonable. Anybody who thinks it's less than a 7, you can explain yourself in the chat. Don't agree with you. What would I give Mbeumo? I mean, just the physical signing of Mbeumo, it's got to be another 9, isn't it? You could probably argue a 10. I think with Cunha, we kind of had a free run at Cunha. And the only reason we had a free run at Mbeumo was because it came out really damn early that he chooses United. In terms of the negotiations, in terms of how the transfer played out, it was frustrating. It was annoying. I don't particularly think that was just United's fault. I just can't even remember how long this summer's been now. It's got to be a 9 out of 10, isn't it? Nicholas saying Mbeumo is super like a juiced Ahmed. MRT saying I think this is the best one. But kind of best summer. Who do you think will be better than Cunha in his position? Don't care. We've got Cunha. Sekou Kone is injured currently, yes. 10 player, but 7 negotiations in the price. Let me have a look at the poll. 900 votes are in, and most of you are saying 9 out of 10. 44% are saying a 9 out of 10, and 27% are saying a 10 out of 10. That's right. That was a good one. So actually, more of you think that's a 9 out of 10 than you do on the Cunha signing. So what about Šeško? Start a poll. What would you rate the signing of Šeško? 7, 8, 9, or 10? I'll just do 7, 8, 9, or 10. Fire it in. So right now, so far, you've gone for 2 9 out of 10 signings with Cunha and Mbeumo. Let me know what you think about Šeško. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. JXC saying, Sam, let me ask, what's your opinion on Xerxes this season so far? I think he's been class when he's been given an opportunity. He definitely looks sharper, lean. I thought he actually looked quite good against Grimsby. You're not allowed to talk about anything good from Grimsby, but I thought he played quite well in the cameo. It was a nice little flick on for the Mbeumo goal that he won, I think. Didn't he win the flick on down for Delo? I thought it was quite interesting the fact that Amram actually brought him on. What game was that? Can't remember what game it was at. Was that a Burnley game? I thought he brought him on. No, it was Burnley. And then he brought Šeško on a little bit later. Clouds, you're saying, I personally think that the window was a 9, given that we finished 15th, got class players in, and we got all of the deadwood out of the club. I suppose they didn't get rid of all of the deadwood, but we got rid of a lot of the deadwood. Let me see what you're saying down here about Šeško then. Mad Maneuver is saying 7, another large price tag for potential. I hope he can handle it. Jonas is saying 8, maybe only a 7. We didn't need a striker. Yeah, I mean, we didn't need goal scorers. I would have preferred for United to put that money into a midfielder after we signed 2 number 10s who have goals, but we went for a striker. And then we went after Baleba as well, so we clearly had the money for it somehow. Just not enough. Jorge is saying, I'm kind of disappointed at his start to the season. I don't know how you can possibly, I don't mean this like to belittle you, I don't know how you can possibly be disappointed about a new signing that quite literally hasn't started a Premier League game yet. Literally not started a game for us in the league. Only game he started is away at Grimsby. That's called making a judgment too soon. Give him some time, man. Maybe his first start will come away at City. I don't know, but Amram seems to be integrating him slower than Gyökeres is being integrated at Arsenal, for example. What was you saying down there? So on the poll, we've got 1,100 votes are in, and 44% of you are saying a 7 out of 10. 40% of you are saying an 8 out of 10. 11 are saying a 9, and 5% are saying a 10. So 7 just wins that. But 8 was close. And no, absolutely nobody does want Manasseh right now. 11 out of 10 for his jump against Walker. That was good. Right, there we go. We've got a second official statement. Man, what? This is mad. 15 minutes to go in the transfer window. And we're getting like official statements banged out. One after the other. Good old Man United. I think it's fair to say that we needed a live show for this. Right? Open a new tab. Unfortunately, it's not for Senne Lammens. But Antony has signed for Real Betis. United and Real Betis have reached an agreement for the permanent transfer of Antony subject to international clearance. He's rejoined the club where he spent, second half of last season on loan. Signed for Ajax. Everybody at the club would like to wish Antony the very best. So that's confirmed. And we know how much that's for because we got the here we go earlier. That is for 25 million euros. And United get 50% of the sell-on. Yep, confirmation here from Rob Dawson from ESPN. Just reaffirming everything I just said there, which we already knew. But just in case you didn't know. Antony to Real Betis is complete. Total package worth 25 million euros. United due 50% of any future transfer. No payment made to Antony to settle the remainder of his contract. All in all, do I think that's the best? What would you say is the best deal that we just spoke about the best signings, right? What would you say is the best deal that United have got in terms of exits? I think it's probably going to be Napoli and Hojlund or Antony and Real Betis. Yeah, like people are going to be speaking about it's not enough money, it's not enough money, but we overpaid for him. We overpaid massively. So I think that's actually a fair price for him. Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. And you're saying Hojlund, and so is Dune and Elorm and Alex. You're all saying Hojlund. Cover, you're saying Garnacho. Some are saying Sancho. I don't really think so, really. I think I'll go for Hojlund. I think if you'd gone into this summer and you were told, United fans, that we would be able to find a deal where Hojlund leaves on loan next season, somebody pays his full wages, and there's an obligation in it that will give United 45 million euros, I think we all would have gone, yeah, all right, good, yeah, let's sign it. Let's sign it. I think I agree with everyone down there. I think I'll go Hojlund as the best deal. Antony is probably the second. And I think I'll go for Garnacho third. I don't think the Rashford deal is very good. But we got that done early. I thought that Rashford one was going to drag until the end. I really did. I thought it was going to drag. It didn't. Lots of others dragged, but the Rashford one didn't. Yusuf saying, greeting Sam. Trust you well. Sheshko needs minutes and to gel with teammates and hope he gets the minute. He will get the minutes. I've got no questions about the fact that he'll get his minutes. Abby, you're saying it will be really interesting to see how Onana and Bayindir hold up now if you get the deal done. One of them surely has to leave. I think there's parallels with the Hojlund situation. Not leaving, want to stay. Not leaving, want to stay. Not leaving, want to stay. Don't want to join Leipzig, I want to stay. You signed Sheshko. All right, well, you left me out of these 2 matchday squads as well. Right, fair. It was a little bit harsh. Whatever words you want to use to describe it, it was probably a little bit harsh. But not harsh, but it was just cutthroat. It was clinical. It was business-like. Decision was made. You're out of the team. Let's hope that both Onana and Bayindir get the hint on that. Right, you are getting a timeout because you are just spamming the same comment. See ya. Man, that Antony deal really is good. 50% of any sell-on. Taking that, man. Taking that. Do we cancel Collier's loan, says Ant? No, I don't think so. Collier just wouldn't get any minutes, man. Really, really wouldn't. Collier's like another Ugarte in that sense. He's a breaker-upper, which I know serves its purpose. But I think I would like to see Collier go on loan, but I like to see him stay on loan at West Brom in the Championship for a year. That's what I'd like to see. We've got T-minus 8 minutes. Where's my Senne Lammens? Where's he at? Come on. So we've got 2 more deals that we hope are getting announced. We've got Hojlund Sancho and Aston Villa. And we've got Senne Lammens to Manchester United, the big one, the new goalkeeper. A couple of you down there saying that Collier is better than Ugarte on the ball. Yeah, he might be slightly better, but I would like to see him get a full season in the Championship to develop, because he will massively develop. Everything's moving. If you are new, welcome to United People's TV. It's been a big old summer. Please do consider subscribing. We've got 7 minutes left until the window closes. And we can... Oh, wrong button. Oh, no, shouldn't have pressed that. I've ruined it. What about that? Press that again. There you go. Fixed it. I think. Have I broken it again? I've broken where the camera is. Shouldn't have pressed that button. Oh, well. We should have took Javi Guerra. I think you're talking about the one from Villarreal, Valencia, which I think he's now signed a new contract. Yep. A little bit of detail there, which you already knew on the Hojlund loan, but just in case you didn't. The Hojlund obligation is dependent on Champions League qualification, so it should be a sure thing. Should be a sure thing. But yeah, 7 minutes to go, and there is no midfielder coming in. Can we just all have a little moment? Let's have a little. Look, United are taking a risk. I wanted a midfielder this summer. I think it was a couple of weeks ago I said I'd have more confidence that United's midfield would be able to surprise me in a good way across the course of the season than I think our goalkeepers would. Hence why I'm very happy that we're getting one in. But it doesn't mean that I didn't want a midfielder. I think we needed a midfielder, but Level was the choice. And it's just that United have, it's something. And again, some people prefer this. Some people like United to go out and get the absolute top target and then don't just settle on anybody. And that's kind of what United have done this summer. Will it come back to haunt us? Judging from the Fulham game, there will be plenty more games like that. I think there will be plenty of points dropped this season because we don't have the midfield to control the games of football in the way that we should. However, and this is what United have done, there should technically be more points gained from having Cunha scoring goals and Mbumo scoring goals and Šeško scoring goals. United have backed the fact that we'll be... And look, if you look at the chances we've had in these first few games, I think no one's got more expected goals in the Premier League than us, but no one's got a worse conversion rate, really. We are creating chances galore. And that's without Šeško being in the team just yet. What's going on down here? Yeah, I already covered that on Conor Gallagher earlier. Apparently United did approach Atletico Madrid just to see if they would be up for it. And they said, no, we only want to let him leave on a permanent. And United weren't up for that. So that's why we backed out of any move for him. Tiny Man, you're saying, what will Le Mans do when Saliba or Gabriel attack the area with set pieces? What will anybody do? Like, you see the stat that came up in the Liverpool game. Like, I think Arsenal scored nearly, it must be like 9 on, near enough, verging on double the amount of set piece goals in any team. That Arsenal just somehow figure out a way to do it. He's got the frame for it. He's 6'4", but as I've sort of covered and spoke about in my profile video of him, He's got a little bit of hesitation when it comes to crosses and corners. And that might just be through a lack of conviction, or I don't know what it is, but that's something he's definitely going to have to work on. But he's 6'4", and he made more saves in Europe's leagues than anybody else last season. So from a shot-stopping perspective, there's a lot of natural talent there. A lot of natural talent. Beep, 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 Nicholas Jackson. Mate, Nicholas Jackson to buy. I spoke about that at the start of the show. How in the world would Chelsea manage that for 70 mil? How in the world have they done that? Yeah, that's one thing that all of us want our goalkeeper to be better at is shot stopping. It's like, yeah, cool. You're going to get that from him. There's going to be areas of his game where he needs to develop. He's a 23-year-old lad. If he was incredible at claiming crosses and set pieces, then there might be some weaknesses in shot stopping. It's just, that's what happens when every player's got to develop in certain areas. And United don't think could really fund. Like say if you had a blank check. Random question here. Random question. If United had a blank check, what goalkeeper would you have signed this summer? And don't just say a goalkeeper like Alisson or something like that. You're never ever going to sign, or David Raya. But like a blank check, what goalkeeper would you have signed this summer? I'm trying to think of who was available. Some of you might say Donnarumma, and I will come back at you and say, well, showed himself to be a huge, big game player last season, but I would question whether he would have been the right goalkeeper or not. These are just, it's about taking the calculated risks. That's what it is. That's what United have done here. Some of you still saying De Gea, man. De Gea's got some loyal ass stands. I'll give him that. Some loyal stands. Joan Garcia. Yeah, Joan Garcia's a shout. Lunin. We were speaking about Lunin, actually, when we were doing the research. Diogo Costa. Jan Oblak. Blank check is Donnarumma. Quite a few of you are saying Donnarumma down there. Chevalier all day. Mike Mann. Quite a few then. Quite a few different goalkeepers being mentioned down here. But we've got what? T-minus 80 seconds until the transfer window closes. That's what it is, like the deal sheet thing. That's the thing you've got to submit before 7 p.m. in order for you to be able to do it properly, right? I think that's correct. Tic-tac. Could have got in Palacios from Bayer Leverkusen. Are you talking about, is that a midfielder? I think that's a midfielder. Van der Sar. Verbruggen. Lots of names mentioned, but this is the lad that we have signed. The only thing if I was to say I'm worried about one thing, I've already said this to you before. I'm worried for the fact that he has to be sort of dropped into the Lions' den. City away. If that's going to be his first game, it's a heck of a first game for a 23-year-old goalkeeper to come into in a season where Manchester United's goalkeepers have been taking the headlines for the wrong reason. I'd be a little bit apprehensive about that. And that'll be up to United to decide. And if you want to use Šeško as a comparison, Amram's kind of protected Šeško so far and introduced him slowly. But yeah, we're now 10 seconds away from the end of the window. Don't be too worried about... If I was to be worried about one of them, I'd be worried about bloody Sancho going Villa. That better get done now. Dong. I should have had a gong here. Of all the times to have a gong. Should we get a gong out? Should really have thought of that. Of all the times to bring the gong back. The end of the window. That actually feels like an appropriate time too. Hit the gong. We got it back. Where's the announcement, man? Come on. I'm waiting. I don't want to sit here waiting all night. Everyone just fire any chats and any comments. I'll try and interact with as many of you as I can. We'll keep this going for a while. Interesting shout. What if we wanted from Leno from Fulham? Worst gong ever, James. You've not been here long enough, bro. This gong's been around for a long time. I wonder when we first got the gong out. Must be like 3-4 years now. I think so. Eric Ten Hag statement coming out. I started this job with full conviction and energy, but unfortunately management wasn't willing to give me the time and trust I needed, which I deeply regret. I feel this was never a relationship based on mutual trust. I mean, they did him dirty, man. Right, okay, that's a good little bit of news. Yeah, I think it depends on how you look at it, I suppose. But we've got confirmation here of Harry Mass joining Sheffield Wednesday on loan. But I bloody hope this works out. I really, really do. I hope this doesn't end up being a crap loan where a youngster doesn't get any minutes. And Sheffield Wednesday are not a particularly well-run football club right now. Let's be honest. Fingers crossed that works out, though. Anything else coming out? So look. Come on. Give me Sancho to Villa. Give me Senne Lammens. Will Ten Hag get a payout for that? I presume he will get a payout for that. Presume so. Key, you're saying I reckon we'll be active in the January transfer window as well. If United are to be active in the January transfer window, you can predict exactly what it's going to be now. Injuries dependent, of course, that might change United going for something in like a short term. But if United sign someone in January, it's going to be a midfielder. And it's going to be us bringing forward a plan for the summer and doing it in January. Iwobi should have been considered. Huh? That's a rogue name to throw into the comments there. Iwobi. But yeah, unfortunately, we didn't sign a midfielder. Oh, never mind. Right. There's no point sitting here on that long. Got Stephen Rowson from the Manchester Evening News saying the announcement's not imminent. So I imagine something comes out later on tonight, but there's no point keeping you all around. So actually, what is this ultimate clickbait title, Sam, you've gone for? Lemon's official. It's not even official yet. We've signed him. It's just that the announcement's not done. For anybody who missed out the start of the show. The medical got completed. The contract's all signed. But United haven't announced it yet, which probably means it's down to a little bit, he only arrived there earlier. They need to do all the photos, etc. Get that all ready. What's been your favourite transfer news from this window? Okay, last couple minutes of the show. Anybody want to fire in any questions? Have a little Q&A about transfers. If I was to say my favourite transfer, Sancho. Well, no. Favourite exit is Sancho. Favourite signing is... My favourite signing is probably Cunha. I think it's Cunha. It strikes me that Mbeumo is probably going to have more of an impact in terms of goals and assists. But I just really like Cunha. Right. Canadian saying down there, do you think we can survive until January with this midfield? Well, the club has backed that. I think we can. I think it's going to be a problem. I'll be totally honest. But they've decided to take the risk on that. Yeah, no, clubs have got until 9 p.m. to submit the deal sheets, but there's no point in me sitting here for 2 bloody hours. That'll be long. Do you think United do a Luis Diaz and get Baleba in Jan? If we went after Baleba this summer, then we must have had an ability to... even if we lowballed Brighton and we tried to get him for 70-odd mil, we must have had an ability to pay that much money. How worried are you about losing Cunha and Mount? Both of them. We are light in midfield. You're going to get injuries across the course of the season. I just hope that Cunha's isn't too bad. Because he's been looking influential, man. He might not be getting the goals and he might not be getting the assists just yet, but I've really liked what I've seen from Cunha on and off the ball so far. But ladies and gents, I'm going to wrap that one up because that is the end of the transfer window. I don't think there's any point me going live later when the official announcement comes out from Senne Lammens. We can just do a live show tomorrow morning. We can run through his statement, run through the photos, and run through any more details that come, right? Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for making it a fun transfer window. It's been pretty exhausting, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I think it's an absolute privilege to be able to do this as my job, and I won't ever take that for granted. So, if you are new in town, make sure you do subscribe. I'll be back here tomorrow morning. I'm going for a lie now. I think that's what I'll do. Might have to make some dinner first, though. All right. Take it easy, everyone. And if you haven't seen it already, I would encourage you to go over to the channel and watch the Lammens profile video where you'll learn a bit more about his strengths, his weaknesses, and what to expect. Much love, everyone. See you soon.